It's better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. What if there's a zombie apocalypse? What if you need to take down the zombies? I've got 2 in the shop, and I've also got my everyday carry that I keep with me. I guess if a tree goes down. What is going on, y'all? And welcome back to the Average Homeowner's YouTube channel. On today's episode, we are digging into something that is perfectly timed for May. Hurricane season is right around the corner, and on today's episode, I'm gonna take you through all the steps that I go through to make sure that if a hurricane were to hit our area, especially here on the Gulf Coast, that we're prepared. But this isn't just for hurricane preparedness. These are gonna be steps that you can take to ensure that you're ready for an emergency at any time. I'm gonna walk you through all the different stages of preparedness that we go through, but you can use these if you live in an area that's tornado prone, earthquake prone, or if you're just prepping for a natural disaster or anything that could happen so that you and your family make sure that you're prepared just in case. So let's get into it. Okay, so everything I'm gonna go through today will have a link in the description if it's something that can be easily ordered. I'm gonna take you through some of the things that we keep in stock to be prepared, but also some of the steps I take every year to make sure that the generators are up and ready, that we've got everything ready to go just in case an emergency happens. First on our list is a medical kit. You can order this online. We keep one in stock that's going to have everything you need to treat minor emergencies and provide care just in case something tragic happens. The one that I keep is gonna have everything from a trauma and burn blanket to gloves. It's gonna have a knife, some 550 cord, glow sticks, zip ties, even tweezers in case somebody gets a sliver if you're out trying to get the generator moved around and rub against a fence. It's also gonna have all different kinds of bandages and compressions, and most importantly, it's going to have a tourniquet. Just in case there's a loss of limb or a severe bleed, you're gonna wanna make sure you have a tourniquet available, and it's not always about being able to treat and care for someone if you're not trained for that. It's about being able to help someone and ensure that their condition is stable until medical professionals can arrive. So go ahead and order one of these. Like I said, everything's linked in the description below, so I'm not gonna say that a bunch. But while we're talking about the description below, speaking of life-saving things you can do, you can go ahead and click that like-saving button and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow and helps me continue to provide valuable videos like this for you in the future. But I'm not gonna harp on that anymore. Number 2 on our list is backup food buckets. These are gonna be dry food buckets. We've got the ReadyWise emergency food supply. This is gonna be a 30-day 2-bucket bundle. They're all gonna be just add water products. You don't have to have a heat source, although it does make them more enjoyable. So we're gonna have in one all of our different starches. So the blue bucket's gonna contain instant white rice, dried banana chips, pancake mix, brown sugar and maple multigrain cereal, and whey milk alternatives. The red bucket is actually gonna contain apple cinnamon cereal, barbecue beans, cheesy macaroni, hearty tortilla soup, and pasta Alfredo. Now, this is a 30-day meal kit, and you may think it's overkill. Well, these last a really long time. We just keep them in the house in the pantry, and in case of an emergency, we've got them. Even though the last 2 times we've just had to replace them after these expired, it's better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. You don't wanna have to try and rely on going out and sourcing food. And to be honest, if you're not prepared with something like this, you might not be able to go out and source food. So just go ahead and get these, keep them in your pantry. It's better to be safe than sorry, especially in emergency situations. The next item that you absolutely need in any emergency situation, whether it be tornado, hurricane, natural disaster, loss of power, is going to be the trusty headlamp. You just slap this bad boy on and you are good to go doing anything you need to at night, and it absolutely makes everything easier. Just make sure you have extra batteries for it or you get a rechargeable one, but if you do that, make sure you have a power source to be able to recharge it. Or technically, I guess it's charge it, to be able to charge it or recharge it, whatever. Now, in this house, I'm gonna actually show you really quick. We don't need to rely on a lot of those different things anymore as power sources or emergency devices because we have the Generac 24 kW whole home generator. We haven't had that in our last 3 houses. This is the first house that has it because we live all the way out at the end of a power grid, and during the tornadoes and derechos last year, we didn't have it installed. It was here, but it wasn't hooked up yet because it was the new house. It's an awesome backup, but it's not necessarily something everyone has. Now that one actually runs on natural gas that's plumbed to the house. But there's always the scenario that something happens, natural disaster, something where the gas line doesn't work. Maybe the gas line, the main breaks, or there's an issue. What if we lose power to the house and the generator can't kick in? Well, we've got a freezer full of meat, we've got all of our food, our air conditioning runs off of that. So what do we do in case of those emergencies? That's where the Champion generator comes in. I have 2 of these. I've got one lent out right now. Friend had an emergency, needed a generator. I've got it lent out to him. He's gonna change the oil in it and bring it back. But I keep this, and the reason you don't just get rid of these, I may have the whole home generator, but if something happens to that, I have the ability to fire these up and power the freezer, power anything we need in the house. We could even flip the transfer switch and backfeed the house, although that's not a great idea. It would allow us to power everything in the house. We've also got a window unit AC that I keep on the shelf over there, just in case something happens. And something I do with this generator is I always write right on top of it the type of oil it uses. This one uses 10W30, synthetic. That's what I've been running in it. We keep that in stock in the shop here just in case. Last year when the derecho hit, we were running this to power the house. We were powered by these generators for 8 days. If you don't think that requires multiple oil changes, you're crazy. So make sure you have oil in stock, because when the power goes out or a natural disaster strikes, there's gonna be a rush to try and get everything needed to change the oil, and you could see price spikes, you could see anything happen with it. The stores may be closed or destroyed and you can't get it. So make sure you prepare early, keep your oil in stock, keep extra parts in stock. Right now, it's right before hurricane season. And so last week, I changed the oil in the generator. Even though it had only ran a few hours, I changed the oil in all of my equipment once a year, minimum, just to be safe. Now, if it's running, I change it every 60 hours. That's a little sooner than the recommended, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, especially when it comes to something that's powering my home. Next up, let's talk about charging. You're gonna wanna make sure you have some sort of battery pack or charging station. I've got my small one out here in the shop. I've got 2 larger ones in the house. I tend to keep them charged, especially during hurricane season. Even though we have the generators, we've got the ability to get power, those give me an alternative option just in case something happens. When you look at emergency planning, you always wanna use the PACE method. Primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency. And in a severe emergency, I've always got those battery backup options to be able to get power to our devices so that we have communication. And in an emergency situation, communication is key. Now, I also have a weather radio. I've got some different communication tools, the walkie-talkies, stuff that we've used in the past that we don't necessarily need now. AT&T even has a feature where we can power on our phones, and that will transfer the internet to our modem in the house so that we still have internet. There are a lot of things technologically that have advanced in the past few years, but making sure you're always prepared is key. And just some other things you're gonna wanna make sure you prepare for just in case you have an emergency. You wanna make sure you have a water source. So we keep 6 cases of bottled water in the house, not in the garage, because we're scared of the BPAs. And I don't know if there's anything to that. I don't take a side either way. If you do, let me know in the comments below. Fire up the comment section with some BPA discussion. But keep extra water in the house. And then if you know that there's an emergency coming, if you know there's a hurricane, if you're in a hurricane warning or a hurricane emergency or even a tropical storm warning, what a lot of people do and what I recommend, especially if you don't have backup power, is to plug and fill your bathtubs. That will provide you with fresh water in an emergency situation for an extended duration. Do that with every bathtub in the house. Just plug it, fill it up, and then you've got water just in case. Oh, and I didn't touch on this before, but make sure you have extra gas cans and things like that. We talked about the oil changes for the generators. I've got 20 gallons of gas. I've got the 4 20-gallon gas cans. Now, obviously, I rotate them through to make sure the gas is changed out in the mower, but always keep them full, and especially if you know an emergency is coming or that there's a tropical storm or something, you're gonna wanna fill those up. I also keep 1 extra diesel can in the house, just in case. Now, let's say you've got a propane grill, you've got some propane heater, you've got a way to provide safety for your family or provide warmth for your family or food in an emergency. You're gonna wanna make sure that at the beginning of hurricane season, the beginning of tornado season, the beginning of winter, when you know that there could be severe freezes or cold weather and you could be out of power for an elongated amount of time, you're gonna wanna make sure that you go fill those propane bottles up. Those can provide valuable food and heat in cases of emergencies. Now, obviously, you're gonna wanna make sure that you follow all guidance when it comes to using anything with propane. Even the generator, when you run the generator, People die every year because they run the generators in their garages and the carbon monoxide gets in the house. You're gonna wanna set them as far away from the house as possible when you're running them. Point the exhaust so that it's facing away from any opening to your house. You don't want it under vented soffits. You need to get it as far away as possible and make sure that you're safe when using anything that has exhaust. I don't care how clean they say propane burns, get that as far away from your house as possible. You don't need it right under your patio. It's like frying a turkey. Take it easy and get it away from the house. Oh, and another thing is always make sure you've got a nice Yeti cup. That way, in the event of an emergency, while you're dealing with the power outages, the internet outages, any other outages there may be, you can have a nice drink and enjoy getting through it. I also always try and keep enough at our house so that if friends or family members are having an emergency, or if we're all having an emergency and they don't have what's necessary, or they have a problem with one of their generators, they've got a problem with their battery backups, they need fuel, we want to be able to be there for them and be that trusted resource that they can count on because we've gone through the steps and prepared. So I always try and over-prepare, and I recommend you do the same because you don't want to get a call from your in-laws saying that they ran out of fuel or that they've got a problem and that you have to hear about it for the rest of your life because you weren't prepared. You'd rather be able to talk back to them and let them know that you've got their back. Another thing that you're always going to want to have is an everyday carry knife. This is one thing you always like to keep on you. I've got one in the medical kit, I've got two in the shop, and I've also got my everyday carry that I keep with me. You're always going to want to have the ability to use that tool if you need to move, cut, slice, cut meat, split an extension cord, rewire an extension cord. A knife comes in handy in everything you do. I also recommend keeping a multi-tool of some sort. Now I've got all kinds of tools out here. I've got no shortage of tools, but the multi-tool is something, especially if you don't have a lot of tools, maybe you live in an apartment, you live somewhere where you don't have access to tools, maybe you just aren't a person that has a need for tools and you don't do things that require tools. Well, just having a simple multi-tool is one of those key things that you can keep and have on you or have ready so that in an emergency, you've got a way to handle everything. That said, if you're not a person who likes doing things that require tools and preparedness, and I guess you're probably not watching this, but that said, if you are, make sure you have a multi-tool. And last but not least, just in the event that you need it, a mall splitter. What if there's a zombie apocalypse? What if you need to take down the zombies? Maybe you need a mall splitter just in case. I guess that's really not part of the video, but this should make for a good thumbnail. I guess if a tree goes down, probably use this, or probably just grab the chainsaw, but I'd recommend an axe over a splitter, but if you need firewood, you could use it for that. All right, I know that's not everything, but I wanted to run you through a quick list of the things I do right before hurricane season to make sure we're prepared in the event of an emergency. If you've got something on your preparedness list or in your emergency kit that I didn't list here, drop it in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about it. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.